Hey everybody, Bobby Medina here with you once again, bringing you another super fun and exclusive interview with someone really outstanding. And to introduce her, I'm going to introduce Paul Barron, my cohort here, and let him tell you a little bit about all the great things she's accomplished.
Hi, everybody. I'd like to introduce you to Kiku Collins. She's traveled the whole world. We'll get into that in a minute. I just want to go through. She's got quite an extensive list of accomplishments and people that she's played with. But starting at 10 years old, she started playing the trumpet. And in senior high school, she went to Interlochen on a full ride scholarship, which is a very prestigious high school. Is that Michigan? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And then from there, went to the Manhattan School of Music for classical performance. In her 20s, she quit playing, and from what I understand, a friend convinced you to take it up again, to start playing in a band, and from there went to audition 4 callbacks. Is that right? With Beyonce.
Yeah.
The rest is history. There, the whole world has seen you perform around the world with Beyonce, and then from there, Michael Bolton. For 4 years, and Gloria Gaynor, 8 years and counting,
Counting.
when we're all back at work, hopefully soon, with Gloria Gaynor. Also, as well as being a great performer and trumpet player, she's also acted off Broadway and in TV commercials. Can be seen. Were you playing trumpet on the Metro PC commercial? Is that right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
And also
she's,
commercials.
oh, right. And she's also had the extreme distinction, I'm sorry, of of playing for Obama at the White House twice. Very exciting. So, welcome, Kiku.
Thank you.
Wow, what an awesome, background you have. I got to be honest. I mean, I know you, of course. I've been a fan. I've seen you online for a long time, and seen you, of course, with Beyonce and these high level things, and I've always, who is that, and I found, found out, and I thought, wow, that is just so cool, but to find out you're an actress on top of it is just like the icing on the cake. But getting into this, one of the things that I find kind of unique to you is that you are playing in this pop world, in the highest echelons of pop music as a brass player. I mean, that's almost unheard of nowadays, period, let alone to be a woman doing this. And I just, I have a daughter, and, she's a ceramicist now, and she's a fellow artist as well. But I'm really for seeing more gals doing things, especially playing trumpet. When I was teaching, I noticed that I would have more and more female students. And I just thought it was so cool, and I just think it's so cool to see all the things you've done. But tell us a little bit about what's life on the road, or working with an artist like Beyonce or any of these great artists you've worked with.
It's exhausting. I mean, I'm going to be honest. It's funny because I came from, first I came from a classical background. That did not work well for me. It wasn't me at all. It was a terrible fit. I love the music, but that was it. So, I went from classical into recording, which was a little bit strange because nothing I recorded was classical, and that's all I was trained to do, really. So I learned really quickly how to sound different depending on what a client wanted. And so going on the road with a pop star it was completely, I was so confused because I was always hidden. So, I started out in the middle of an orchestra somewhere just being completely anonymous. And then I was in a recording booth, even more anonymous, because you guys all heard me on commercials and stuff. And then all of a sudden I was thrown out onto these stages on TV. Like, what the hell am I doing here? I didn't even know how to put on makeup. So, luckily we had people doing that. It was terrifying in the beginning. I didn't know how to dance. I didn't know.
Well, that's what I was going to say. How is the dancing thing? How does that affect your playing? Because I see some incredible dance things that people do, and it's like, my God, how do you play doing that?
In the beginning, I almost quit because I had my first TV show with Beyonce, and we had a choreographer, and he's trying to teach me to do all these things, and I'm saying it doesn't work. I can't do this, and I actually ended up, and a lot of the stuff he was telling us to do was not possible, playing an instrument, playing a trumpet specifically. Um, so we did change some type of movements, I guess you'd say. Um, but with time, I've learned to kind of keep everything stable between my armpits and my right above my hips, and I move with everything, and I don't know, I figured it out.
Cool.
So that's more like your core, and you just keep that stable. Is that right?
Yes, do a
Okay.
lot of core work and do some planks every day. Stuff like that really helps though.
So getting back to what you said, you're come out of school, you have a background in classical music, but then sounds like you jumped pretty quickly into the recording industry. How did you do that? What got you into that whole thing?
It was super weird, because I mean, as you had mentioned before, Paul, you had said that a friend of mine, we were waiting tables together, and he said, "Oh, my friend's starting this band, and we really want a horn section." I said, "Well, I haven't played in 5 years." So I took 2 weeks and sounded terrible for 2 weeks, and then I sounded mediocre. So I said, "Okay, it's good enough. Whatever. I'm just here to have fun." And so I started, just playing silly gigs around New York with this little funk band back in the whenever that was. And um, but I learned quickly to kind of adapt to a different style, and that was fun. Um, uh, I ended up getting a job at an ad agency, and I was a receptionist because I needed more money than waiting tables would give me. And then quickly they hired me as a production assistant, and then I went to a music house and went just to pick up music and got into some chatting with some people, and they said, "Oh, you're a musician," and blah 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 blah. And the next thing you know, I'm working for a music house. And then the next thing, of course, is, "Can you bring your horn in? I want to hear you. I want to put you on some stuff." I was like, "Of course this is amazing." So
Mm-hmm.
things just kind of grew. I don't know. It's kind of like when people say you can practice forever in your basement, but no one's going to hire you for a gig, no matter how good you sound. And it's true. You have to go out, you have to meet people, you have to network. And I this that it happened naturally in my life. It was bizarre.
Hmm. That's cool. Yeah, I've heard this saying, and I tell this to people or my kids as well. And the saying is very simple. It says, "Your network is your net worth."
Hmm.
You know, and how you do a lot of times is based on who you know, unfortunately and
Yeah,
fortunately.
right. And and it's also about your attitude, because I have seen some incredible musicians get fired, and it has nothing to do with their performance. It just has to do with you're not being nice to everybody.
Right. And oftentimes a person has, let's see, for the sake of the screen, they have this much talent, but the
Right.
gig only requires this much,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know? And so you want to work with people that are nice, that are cool
Yeah.
to work with, that are going to help bring everything up. We were talking with Glenn Drews a while back, and and he's a great player. I don't want to sound like he's doesn't have that much talent. He is super talented. But the thing about Glenn, in talking to everybody, is that he is just so uplifting and funny and can make tense situations really turn them into something jovial, and keep things moving forward. So it's important.
Yeah. I mean, when I'm on the road, it's family style. It's family style. We all take care of each other. It's like this big dysfunctional family. But it also comes out on stage. I mean, if you've ever gone out to see a band and you start to realize that nobody knows each other. They don't
Yeah.
hang out.
Yeah.
You
Or
know?
they're not having fun.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know each other, you
Hmm.
should look like you're having the time of your life when you're performing up there, right?
And that's the first thing you do when you get to sound check and you're meeting people for the first time is you introduce yourself and you learn as much as you can about that person in whatever time you're given. And you have dinner together and, and all of a sudden you know about that person and they're comfortable with you.
And I
Sure.
would imagine with the tours that you do, because you're traveling, you're eating, you're, almost 24/7 with that same group
Yeah.
of people. Um, Things are on fast forward as far as getting to know people. Is that true?
Very much so. Yeah, you know about everybody's pets and their kids and their allergies and everything.
And I've also found doing a lot of the Broadway tours that I do that people's true colors come out on those night or those early morning travel days when you've not had enough sleep and I haven't had my makeup person put my stuff on and
Exactly.
whatever and
You
you
have a
show up.
makeup person, Paul? I didn't
Well,
know that.
I
can't
need
you
one.
can't you tell? Come on.
Fabulous work.
But lines are bad at the airport or whatever happens. True colors come out, and that's where you really see the people that you seem to really bond with, or go, okay, well, I can work with that person, but not my favorite to be around.
Yes, actually, a few years ago, I was on the road, and our plane got delayed over and over and over. We were there for hours. The entire band. There's video evidence of this somewhere. It's been online though, and we're all dancing in the airport together. It was hilarious. And then the flight got canceled. They put us on the plane, and then they took us back off, and they said it's canceled. It's leaving tomorrow morning. And so we all went to a hotel for about 3 hours, basically shower, change, lay down, I don't want to miss lobby call. And then we got back on another plane and we flew directly to sound check with our luggage. And we were exhausted and you knew everything about every person. And it was a really good crew and we had a great time.
Very,
That's when the real bonding happens. Yes.
Yes, that's
Wow.
it.
very cool.
Yeah.
Well, you exemplify to me great attitude, and when we were chatting the other day online, to get into this group a little bit, this particular Facebook group that we've come up with, it's meant as a forum for people to be able to chat and talk about issues maybe that we're facing during this part of our life as opposed to when we're 20 or 30 years old. And I know that you've undergone are undergoing cancer right now, and that you've had um, some issues come about as a result of this. And for other people that may be going through this similar kinds of things, I think it would be really helpful if you could maybe talk about a little bit about some of the changes that may have taken place for this and what you're doing to overcome them.
Well, feel free to cut me off because I kind of I'm an open book with this stuff. So I was diagnosed with breast cancer almost 8 years ago, and since then I've had three surgeries. Um, I developed lymphedema in my arm, which is in this lovely lymphedema sleeve. I have arthritis everywhere in every single joint of my body. I have so much bone loss that I almost lost all of my teeth. They're still mine though. And I had to stop going through treatment because it was destroying me and my career was almost dead. So I could barely play. I mean, some of these really, really big gigs that I've done, I spent 3 hours, trying to warm up in the hotel room, going, oh my God, just anxiety about it. But took the gig, so I got to do the gig. So, so I don't know how I made it work, but I did.
sheer willpower, and I mean, do you find, I mean, you have to be strong, but do you have any kind of like, I don't know, what goes through your mind? I mean, how do you get through your days, or how do you get through these gigs? Do you have any kind of meditations or any things you do that are special? Have you come across techniques that work for you?
I do a lot of breathing. A lot. People forget to breathe. And I know as trumpet players, we breathe for a living. Um, but people forget to just sit in a quiet room and do big belly breaths. And I have two very young students, and I call them Santa Claus breaths. Like, you make a big belly like Santa Claus and just keep doing it. Fill that thing up, keep your shoulders, but this is what I do. And it's very calming. Um, I try to get sleep, which I'm not great at. It's definitely not my forte. Um, but one thing that people do know about me on the road is I go to my room at night, you know, unless it's someone's birthday or something, or there's like a big, family style dinner. I'll end up going to my room and I rest, and I go to the gym first thing in the morning, because it's the only way I can get through my day with my head intact. And just going to the gym and having, an hour and a half, just working on your whole system and not playing the trumpet and, not doing anything but that is so important to me.
And how about as far as practicing and playing and maintaining, yourself in the trumpet, behind maintaining your trumpet playing? What do you do for that? How has that changed, from where it was to where it's at?
Well, it's changed a lot because of my arm. I've gone through several different changes, equipment wise, just these little pipes that I had built. I don't know if you know Josh Landris. He's a great repair guy in New York here. And so, I was at a party at his place, actually, at his shop. And, I said, listen, I'm going to be at the White House next week, and I can't hold my freaking horn. What do I do? And he said, I got you. So he made me these crazy tubes that twist onto the bottom of my horn, and I could hold it lower so that there was less weight on my arm. And it's actually really, really hard to play with them, because as you can imagine, you're so used to doing this, and all of a sudden your hand is way down. You don't know what to do anymore. Your brain doesn't register it well, but I don't know how I got through that, but I did. I mean, just, I have to do so much maintenance on my arm just to make sure that it can function and it doesn't blow up. Because like my arm could be 6 times this size if I don't take care of it, and there's no cure. So lucky me. And just, I mean, I mentioned the bone loss, and my teeth were literally about to fall out, and we were mapping out my entire mouth to get ready to build new teeth. And I remember I went home that night, my husband and I went to the gym, and I just said, I can't walk anymore. Like, it was over. I was like, he said, just go sit on a bike and just pedal. I said, no, you don't understand. I don't think I'm going to make it to the bike. So I somehow got home, and that was the last time I medicated. So my teeth started to solidify, and they were like wiggling around like a little kid has a loose. All of my teeth were moving. So as you can imagine, every time I put the horn in my face, it was like everything was just sucked into the vortex. And I'm going, oh my God, I'm going to swallow my teeth on the gig.
Now, was this during chemo treatment?
It was during, I guess they call it like a maintenance or a preventive treatment. It's supposed to be mild, and they're full of,
Yeah.
But
doesn't sound mild at all.
Yeah,
no, absolutely
exactly.
not.
Oh my, and they say, oh, you might get some mild symptoms. I'm like, I'm dying. Like 3 months into it, I had osteoporosis. Like, I was a personal trainer. I've been lifting weights most of my life. Why do I have osteoporosis all of a sudden? So I ended up taking it for 10 months because I was afraid to die. And I was like, by the time I quit, I said, I am dying. This is not cute, like I'm gone. My daughter was asking at the time, she said, Mom, when can you get rid of this stuff? When can you stop taking it? And it's like, oh my God, this poor child is being tortured, because it made me nuts, and everything hurt, nothing worked. What's the point? What's it going to give me 6 extra weeks? I mean, come on.
I lost my mother to ovarian cancer, and she decided to take the most aggressive route she could in hopes that she could beat it or be around longer. But at the end of the day, she succumbed to it, and it did last a number of years. She was around, but she had told me, if I knew it was going to do this to me, I probably would have let it have taken its course, its natural course.
Yeah.
So I've heard people on both sides. Of course, you want to live, and you got to be there for your family and your children and everything, but it's tough. So
Yeah.
other than your teeth, have you had any other? I know, well, with your arm, I know you have muscle issues and stuff.
Oh,
but
yeah.
do you have muscle issues in your lips and stuff too?
Yeah, actually, the same mild medication. Excuse me. It changed my skin quality completely. So, and I have pretty resilient skin. So, but it would get to the point where if you poked me in the face, you would see a finger mark for like a day.
Oh, wow.
It would not bounce back. And so you can imagine, you put up the horn to your face and you're like, okay, I'm going to play for 5 seconds. And then I'm now indented and my teeth are moving everywhere. It was a disaster. I don't know how I got through the gigs. I don't know how I didn't get fired from any of those gigs, honestly. I really don't know how I made it through.
Wow. But looking at you now, and I know you probably hear this all the time, but I mean, you look amazing. I mean, if I saw you on the street or something, I would just think, wow, there's this beautiful woman. I would never think twice about it, that you were, had any of this going on.
Thank you. I mean, I think one of the things that I've really learned through a lot of this journey is, I have a lot of friends who are sick, and I have a lot of friends who have a lot of disabilities, and almost all the time it's invisible. I have friends with permanent, like crazy, difficult disabilities. But you look at them. I have a friend, she's a model. She does runway, but she has to live in a wheelchair most of the time. So, I mean, it happens. And she does exactly what I had to do, which was like, all right, get out of the wheelchair, walk the runway, get back in the wheelchair. And she's fierce, so I don't know.
It makes me feel like such a wuss when I kind of complain about my back or my foot hurting or something.
Oh, my feet have been killing me. You don't even know.
So how long have you been off the medication then?
I was trying to figure it out and I don't know. It's been at least 5 years, maybe 6 years by now. I don't know. It's been a long time. So things have started to regenerate. I mean, I've always lived a really clean life, but I cleaned it up like crazy when I was first diagnosed, and it's been getting better, every day, and I keep tweaking things. So of course I have things like anti-inflammatory, blah, 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 all the hippie stuff. I do all the hippie stuff. I've been kind of an undercover hippie for a long, long time, way before my diagnosis. Like I've been brewing kombucha for 25 years, I don't know, at least. We make our own yogurt, we bake our own gluten-free bread because I found out I have an allergy to wheat. There's so many things that I just keep tweaking. I clean fast, I intermittent fast every day. I'm actually doing a long fast right now. So you just try to figure out what your body needs to repair. Mm-hmm. And I mean, with everything going on, I have to repair constantly. So what am I going to do?
That's great advice for anybody going through, medical conditions, ailments, whatever, but also as just a trumpet player to listen to your body and, do the things that is going to feed what am I trying to say? Is good fuel for the body, the engine,
Right.
My father is coming up on 90 here pretty soon, and he's in great health. He's still He's still a beast for his age. I mean, I can't believe him, what he does. And I've told him, I've said, what, kind of what's your secret, And he says, Bobby, he says, your body is like a car, the older it gets, the more maintenance it needs. And so he always talks about, I always walk, I always do my exercises and this and that. And he eats halfway decently and, takes pretty good care of himself, has a little wine now and then or a beer or something, but nothing crazy, And that's kind of what I try to do. And one of the other things I know, and you hit on it a while ago, and I think it's something maybe particularly in American society, as opposed to a lot of other cultures, but we don't sleep enough, and I think people are on the run, we got to work. And I mean, my mother was from Mexico, and back in the day, they had siesta. I got a thing I do over in Portugal, or go to Spain every year or a couple of years, and everything's closed for 3 hours in the afternoon,
Yeah.
And they eat the big meal in the middle of the day. I like that too. I don't like eating a big meal at the end of the day. I feel better. I sleep better.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't eat at night.
Well, listen, we have about 10 minutes here left, so I want to talk to you just briefly a little bit tell us about your gear, how your gear has changed from the past to where you're at now. We've heard everything from some people started in one place and went all over, and they went back, to people have custom things made for themselves. So I'm just curious, what do you work with?
I just got a new trumpet right before we all shut down. I got 2 gigs in on it. Oh my God. I took it to Cuba though. How about that?
That's cool.
So my main instrument is B flat trumpet. I have other stuff that I use occasionally, because why not? But I'm playing on an Edwards X13. Have you tried those?
I've never tried an Edwards, but I've heard good things about them.
It's so great.
Is this one of the ones that has like the interchangeable like lead pipes or bells or something?
It has a thing that I call voodoo. I forget what they call it, but I don't care. It's like this little like bolt that you can screw on and off, and they give you 2 different ones, or you can use it without. It's fascinating. It's a really nice horn. I had switched I was playing the Getz and Vax, and because I'm a Getz and artist, I guess I'm an Edwards artist because they're sister companies, whatever. So they actually nailed it. Brett was telling me, you're going to love this Edwards. And so I looked at a picture of it. I said, that looks so heavy. I can barely hold my horn now. That thing looks like a Monette. That's ridiculous. But it's actually, I think it's a little lighter than the Vax.
Wow.
Yeah, and the Vax is a very big blowing horn. The Getzman, I don't know if you've tried that one. And I loved it. It fulfilled so much of, I think, my training as a classical player, because I loved using a lot of air, and I can't do it anymore. It's exhausting. And as we get older, and as everything starts to kind of break down, I mean, I needed to be more efficient. And so this was a lifesaver for me.
Very cool. This is kind of the theme that we hear from everybody, from Peter Pickett, who we had on, talking about all the trumpet players that come through, and what they're trying to do as we get older, we're trying to figure out a little bit how to make it a little bit easier, or how to not expend so much energy.
Yeah. Why do we want to work so hard when we're younger? I don't understand that, but that's a thing. It's like a trumpet ego thing.
It's exactly what we were talking with Gary Guthman a while ago, and he said the same exact thing, didn't he, Paul?
Yes.
I mean, if you could give me a horn and I could just push a button and it did the gig for me, I'd be
There was a Get Smart episode that he had an electronic trumpet. That was so funny. And if he would say the name of the song, it would start playing it. So he posed as a trumpet player in this episode, and he would call the tune, and he would just stand there and the horn would play itself. And then one day, so one day it was an electronic trumpet, right? So then one day he sets the horn on a stool, and everybody's they're all leaving, and this guy says, "Well, I'll be seeing you," and the horn starts playing. "I'll be seeing you." So they found out that he was a spy. I always remember that episode.
Oh my God! Well, I need 2 of those at least. Yeah.
Well,
And then how about mouthpiece-wise, Kiku? How was that adapted to your change of teeth and bone structure and muscles and?
Yeah, I've been through a few mouthpieces through this whole ordeal. I was playing, well, when I first started touring, I think, or somewhere near the beginning of my touring, I ended up on a Loud 3Z, which they don't make anymore. But it was a fun mouthpiece. It was a good transition from classical stuff. And then when they kind of broke up, so Loud still makes my trombone mouthpiece, which I couldn't tell you what it is. But I tried some other mouthpieces. I played around with, because Patrick mouthpieces came out of that for trumpet, but none of them really fit me like that 3Z. And then I ended up talking to Terry Warburton, and so he sent me a little bag of goodies, and I tried a bunch of stuff, and we ended up making a Kiku top, which was fun. And then just recently, I've been kind of playing around with it because I said I need to get more efficient. I need help still. And so Kim actually sent me a backboard, the KT backboard. So I've been working with that right now, and it feels more efficient. My husband's a trombone player, so I torture him. Well, we torture each other, really.
Yeah.
What else do people do when they're married?
Sure.
But, I'm A-B'ing everything with him. I did the same thing with the horn when I first got it. He's definitely hearing a difference. I feel like it fits me better now. So as of now, that's my mouthpiece combo.
And I imagine it's taken less energy than to create the sound and energy that you were after in the first place, right?
Right. That's what I'm looking for. And I've never been good in a shallow mouthpiece because I was raised classical, so I played bathtubs.
Sure.
So that, but so far it's working out. And if not, we'll just keep tweaking.
Well, fortunately, there's great manufacturers, mouthpiece makers out there like Terry Warburton and Peter Pickett and those guys who are so great at listening to what we need and adapting, gear towards our needs.
Yep, definitely.
Well, I'm going to have to check out Edward's trumpets, and if people want to check out your playing, they can go over to KikuCollins.com, right, to learn more about you. And we love having you on this site. And when you ever you want to contribute or chime in, it's definitely welcome for us. And I know for me, and I'm sure for everybody else, you are really an inspiration for all of us. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here with us and spending a little bit of time. We really appreciate it. And we hope that we'll get to do another one of these interviews maybe in the future with you.
That'd be fun. You mean when I'm in the over 80 group?
Let's hope it's before then.
Woo! It doesn't look that far away.
Well, Zoom is about to hang up on us, so I'm going to say goodbye and I'm going to sign off. But thanks so much, Paul and Kiku, for being here. And we hope you guys all enjoy the interview and have a great day. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you, Kiku.
Bye.